Hi, my name is Austin. This is Gone in 60, and this is my 2022 Subaru WRX. And today we're going to be covering a topic that honestly I've had a hard time understanding, and I honestly don't get all of the hate that surrounds this new model WRX. So in today's video, we're going to jump into it. We're going to talk about it, give you guys some awesome scenery as I drive the WRX. Please stick around to the end. I do launch the car, have some fun acceleration on it, so make sure and check out this whole video. But I want to get into the topic of why there's so much hate around the new WRX. If you guys are new to my channel, please like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let's jump right after it. So contrary to opinions out there, beliefs that the new WRX isn't selling, they're sitting on lots, we've covered that in previous videos, but fact of the matter is the new WRX is selling, and it's selling quite well. Is it the best selling WRX ever? No, it's not. I project by the end of 2023 it'll be in the top 3 in terms of sales for Subaru on the WRX models over the last 7 years. So it's selling really well. Now, all the hate surrounding the new WRX, let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of the reasons. I'm going to share some of my counterpoints to a lot of this stuff. But looks, I understand. You can't win everyone over. Every time there's been a new model year WRX, fans and everybody lose their minds. They go, oh, it's ugly, it's terrible, it grows on people, and then it eventually becomes their favorite model for WRX. And just like dating someone, I might think someone is cute or pretty, you guys might think they're ugly. So looks is something we're never going to win over. To each their own. They're all going to have things that they like or that they don't like. Is this my favorite looking WRX? No, it's not. But I'll leave that there. Let's not talk about the looks. I get the hate. I can't win anyone over. I can't change anyone. But I also think Subaru knows something. No matter if everybody likes the looks of the new WRX when it comes out, Subaru knows that everyone is going to modify these cars like crazy. Very few people leave them stock. Everybody wants to personalize them. Everybody wants to make it their own. And so I think Subaru does that. They're like, hey, whether we come out with something that everyone thinks looks amazing, people are still going to bolt on fender flares. They're going to tune these to stage 55. Like, everybody is going to modify these cars. And so I think Subaru knows that. I originally didn't like this car when it came out. I was on the bandwagon of it looks ugly, I don't like it, it only has 3 more horsepower, come on. Then I drove it, and that's when all of my opinions changed. I was in the market for a new BRZ. I went into a dealership, I put a deposit on a BRZ. They had a black base 2022 WRX that I took for a drive, and I remember as I was driving it, I heard some turbo noises, and I loved it. Like, the power band of the car, even though it only had 3 more horsepower, and I've covered this in other videos, but the car's power band felt extremely linear. It pulled really nice all the way up to redline. Redline came on almost a little too quick, but I remember after driving it and shifting it, I was like, hey, I like this. I am all about it. And the power band for me was something that was missing before with the WRX. I felt like, as I've talked about, power would come on, it would kick you in the face, and then it would kind of fall flat on its nose. So I definitely think you have to drive one if you can. Even if you hate the looks of it, drive it, and you might understand what this car's about a little bit more. Something to point out around this vehicle is the car's engine is heavily less boosted with more displacement. So in previous models you had the 2.0 liter, the car's PSI peaked a lot higher than what this model does stock. I think the most I've ever had in terms of peak PSI on stock with this car was right around 14.3. And in prior generations, those numbers got up to, high 19s, maybe low 20s even. And the displacement's bigger, it's 2.4 liters. And so you have a much less stressed engine. What that means, and what it hopefully means, is this car is going to last a lot longer than some of the prior generations on the FA20, even some of the EJ motors. A more heavily boosted motor sometimes isn't something that's going to last a long time. And there's obviously heavily boosted motors that can last a long time, but Subaru and their engines over time, for people who tune them or don't take the proper maintenance, just like any car, the reliability isn't amazing on them. So This car really wakes up with a few modifications. You can go look at any dyno tests out there, any YouTuber out there that have put this car on a dyno, but a couple small changes like air intake, maybe changing the top mount intercooler out in just a mild tune, and this car immediately can add 70 to 100, wheel torque, horsepower. I mean, it really wakes the car up, and so it gives, I think Subaru, even though people are really upset that it only got 3 more horsepower, they left it at a very neutral spot where people can tune it, because once again, Subaru knew what people is going to do with this car. Now, where will be the weak point of this car is going to be the transmission. It's not the STI transmission that is a significant benefit of the STIs and having that transmission. But once you get above 400 wheel, like the 400 horsepower torque, kind of around that realm, you're going to start having issues potentially with the transmission. It might not be able to hold a whole lot back past that. Also, maybe the stock clutch at that point. However, the transmission is going to be the weak point. It's not the STI. And maybe the hate for the new WRX just comes from the fact that they got rid of their darling child, which was the STI. And I can understand that. But it's so interesting. Tell me what all-wheel drive turbo car competes at this level while still offering it in a manual transmission. I'll wait, because you're not going to come up with something here. I'll jump into some examples that you could go with, and I'm also going to argue against that. Mazda 3 Turbo, no manual, which is sad, because I think that car with a manual, I'd be all about that car, but Mazda's kind of gone a different direction. Golf R, sure, but the price point isn't even comparable, and with markups and everything, you're looking at high 40s, low 50s for that car, whereas you can get into an entry-level base WRX for high 20s, maybe low 30s. So that doesn't really compare. So what does compare is front-wheel drive cars. You have Golf GTI, but front-wheel drive. Honda Civic Si, front-wheel drive. And the power on the Honda Civic Si, it doesn't compare. The Hyundai Elantra N, great car, but front-wheel drive. So really, Subaru is in a class of its own. It isn't pushed on competition. It really isn't. If all-wheel drive isn't an option, then some of those front-wheel drive competitors above are honestly very formidable competition. So I can totally understand why Subaru kind of has a market all to itself. A lot of people can't get into the Golf R or afford that. And there's there's all-wheel drive cars, but turbocharged and at this power level, if I'm missing a car, please let me know. I'd be all ears to hear if I've missed a certain car. So all of this hate surrounding the new WRX, I don't get it. I would love to hear your guys' comments below. I'd love to kind of get your guys' thoughts. But like Tinder or a lot of these dating apps, most aren't reading the bios. Most aren't like going on a date with someone and getting to know them before they just judge them on their looks. They immediately swipe right. So instead of swiping right on the new WRX, maybe give it a chance, maybe give it a drive like I did, and I changed my perception really quickly. Things grew on me. Read the bio, go on a date, check it out. There's a lot of these at dealerships. You can find some. Give them a drive, don't swipe right. I think this car is vastly underrated. I think Subaru did a good job of a very neutral platform. They know their audience, that they're going to tune these, that they're going to drive these hard. They're going to change the looks no matter what. So at the end of the day, I don't understand all the hate for the WRX. If you guys have some points to this that I haven't considered, please leave them in the comments below. As always, guys, thank you so much for the support on my WRX videos. I've loved this car. I really appreciate this car. If you guys are new to my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you agree with some of my points or if you disagree with some of my points. Totally fine. I'm Austin, this is Gone in 60, and we will catch you on the next video.